Hi guys, my name is Tina Joy Carroll. Just kidding. Okay, that would have been funnier if I would have logged into her account and it would have said her name at the bottom. But my name is Angela Dunn, and I'm a Diamond Elite here with Trinant. I've been here for about 4 years. And the reason why I said that is going to be, I'm going to address that as we go. But so often we want to compare ourselves to other people. And one of the worst things we can do in our mind is compare ourselves to other people and say, I could never be a Tina Joy Carroll. I could never be a Sonora Brown, right? So I want you to, with this Zoom today, our goal is hopefully we will, by the end, you will feel confident knowing that you are a capable leader and you are capable of doing all the things that all of the leaders do, and that you see yourself as a leader even right now. So, the introduction, real quick, with myself, just because a lot of you may not know me, it would be good just to know, like, how did this lady get to where she is, right? So I am a 51-year-old mom, and I worked in law enforcement for 7 years before I found network marketing. And before that, I was a nanny for 15 years. So I've done a lot of caretaking in my life of different sorts. And I kind of feel like this is kind of the same thing, right? You help nurture people in this space. As a leader, that's your goal, is to help nurture people. And you don't have to hold their hand forever. And if you are, that's probably not doing them a service, right? So the goal is to help people, whether you're brand new or whether you've been around for a couple years and you're still kind of hemming and hawing about whether or not you feel like you're a leader. The goal is to help people feel more empowered and more capable, right? But we don't do that by allowing people to compare themselves to anybody else, because you're never going to be a Tina Joy Carroll. You're never going to be a Jen Dowd. You're going to be you. And the goal is to get you to be the best version of you that you can provide for other people. Because I don't know everybody, right? You guys know the people that you know, and you're going to impact them. And we all have a ripple effect to throw out to the world to help other people see what we have and why it's so exciting to be here. So the first thing as a leader, I want you to know that, and we will get into the main topic. This is hopefully going to be fairly quick. We wanted to make these minis like mini trainings, but I know that sometimes they can go a little long, but I'll try to keep it 30 minutes or under. The goal with this was to help you feel empowered to start creating your mindset and not self-sabotage, so that you can know that you will be hosting Collab Labs, what some people call them work sessions, power hours, and also hosting any kind of Zooms, trainings, maybe such as this. And so I want you all to recognize that you're all capable of that, first of all, okay? And the number one thing, one of the very, very most important things to know as a leader, to be a leader, I'm going to just touch on this before we get into the other stuff, is events. So I know Tina talked about it last week, but no matter whether you see this in 6 months from now, or if you're seeing it today live or later today in a recording, one of the most powerful things you can do as a leader, and even if you have one person in your team, and even if you don't even have a person in your team yet because you're brand new, you are a leader and you're capable, right? But the number one thing to do is to get yourself to TLA. So I hope everybody has a ticket to TLA and that we'll see you there, because that's going to empower you and your business the very most. And when you get around other people and you feel their energy for the same passion that you have, and maybe your family thinks you're crazy. Maybe your neighbors are like, what is this lady doing? Why is she always talking about this stuff? Maybe you have a Trinant logo and on your Jeep, and people are like, what is this Trinant thing, right? This is the most powerful thing you can do to have the confidence with what you're offering, is to be out there at an event and be around the energy of the people who have the same belief as you. Maybe those people don't believe in what you do, but you believe in it, and that's all that matters. And then your goal is to go out and find the people that also feel that with you. And when you get yourself around other people that are feeling the same passion and have the drive that we have, and you experience that, if you haven't been to an event, it's one of the most powerful things you can do for your business, okay? So most of us, I'm going to talk a little bit about belief and mindset, because that's one of my favorite things to do. I do it all the time. It's one of the things that I believe has gotten me to where I am. So like I said, I was a nanny, I was a law enforcement officer, and then I stayed home with my kids for a couple years, and I fell into this industry. A lot of us find ourselves in this industry by accident. And I just kind of thought I wanted something for myself. I wanted to feel part of something. And so when I got into it, really by accident, because it was a makeup product, I'd never used makeup before in my life, really. And so I was like, what is this thing all about? Right. And then I started watching these people. At first, I just wanted to have fun. And then it became, well, they're making money doing this. Maybe I could do the same thing. Right. And so the first year or so I was in the industry, the most daily activity I did was mindset stuff, was empowering myself to have the belief that I could do what those other ladies did. And I'm like, they look just like me. They seem just like me. Like, what is this power that they have that they're capable of making a full-time income plus, right? Some of these ladies were making triple, quadruple the amount of time money I was making even in a law enforcement job. And I'm like, well, what are they doing? How is this possible? So it really is just jumping in and taking the steps and continuing to move forward with your steps. You don't have to know all the skills, and you grow and learn as you go. So knowing that wherever you are right now is exactly where you're meant to be. So when you watch Tina or somebody else on a leadership scale and you think, I could never be there, I could never do that. Remember, and she tells you this all the time too, and so do all the other leaders, we all started somewhere, and we all started in a very, very beginning spot of having no clue as to what we were doing. So our goal is for you to feel like, okay, they did that. It might take me some time, but I can do it also. And so believing in yourself is one of the first things that I have to talk to you about, because we all tend to sabotage ourselves, and the mindset is the most like difficult thing to move past. But if you can click and recognize that you have tools and tasks that you can do to switch your mindset, then you can create whatever life that you want to, right? So most of the time what happens in this industry, and I see it all the time, and it's kind of painful. This is why it's become kind of my pet passion project that I like to do with my team personally, is people get into maybe a jade position or an opal position, and sometimes even a pearl position. And all of a sudden they say, oh my gosh. And they're not, I promise you, nobody's saying this to me most of the time, actually saying it verbally, right? But in their mind, they start sabotaging themselves. We start saying, oh my gosh, but if I'm a diamond, which is what we want, right? We all want the diamond position so we can have the pay and the flexibility in our lives. But a lot of times, what it is that they think that we all do, what you all think, like we're scared of that. We're like, oh my gosh, what if they ask me to do a work session? What if I'm asked to speak on a Zoom? What if I have to do, I don't know, what if I have to speak on stage or something like that, right? So we want these things, but the actual responsibilities and the activities that would be in part of that scares the heck out of us. And so we do that to ourselves in our mind. So my goal is for people to have these things along the way that you can learn and you can get better and better and better at, right? That's why we do the work sessions, to help you with the very basic steps, right? So work sessions are things like your DMO, right? Your daily method of operation. They are things like scheduling reels, scheduling your stories, scheduling your posts, that kind of thing, right? So if it scares you to even do like a power hour, a work session, if it scares you to do that, then the most important thing for you to do is to go in and be part of them and just start doing your daily activities with the people that are there, right? And then what you can do after that is, here's something that I love for people to do, is get into a Zoom with a friend and start practicing together. So I don't know how many of you guys practice your live videos, if you do Facebook lives and that kind of thing, but I actually created, and anybody's welcome in it, but it's called the Trinot Live Practice Group. So some people are out there maybe watching this going, I haven't even done a live. That scares me to even just do a live. Like, how am I ever going to do a live, right? And yet we really encourage you to do that, because that's how you're going to get your message out about what we're doing. So I have a group that's just for practicing, right? So you can do that also with Zooms and preparing to be that leader that you're going to be able to do the Collab Labs, the work sessions, right? You could get in there with a couple other people who are scared too, or somebody that you work with, and you can get on a Zoom like this and pretend like you're running your own work session. So I really encourage you all to start doing that. And then the other thing is, you create this little camaraderie. And I have a couple girls in my team last night who were doing this. There were 3 of them on this Zoom, and I jumped in just to see what they were doing before another Zoom I did. And they're all working. And the girl that's a pearl in our team, she was running the whole thing, right? Now she does other work sessions and she feels pretty confident doing them, but that's something anybody can do. And I really encourage you to do that, because it builds your confidence, right? In fact, I know I have real quick here, if that's okay, I'm going to have someone jump on real quick. Hey, Bobbin, are you able to speak, even if maybe you don't want to show your, oh no, wait, hold on. Sorry. Miss Tracy's on here. I already talked to her, and I see that her her videos on. Tracy, would you share real quick how you felt before and after like creating? I'm gonna add spotlight, and I want you to share about power hours and what you felt before, and then how you feel about it now. If you just for like a minute or so.
Okay, so when Angela first asked me if I wanted to do a power hour, I said absolutely not. No way that was happening. I couldn't even do a live at that time without crying my eyes out the before and after, and then worrying about it for 3 or 4 days that I did this horrible live. So when she finally convinced me that it was just go through the daily DMO. You know how to do that. And I was like, okay, I can do that. I had made myself a long list of what the DMO was. And when I did it, I remember 8 people came on and I fumbled through it. I will be honest. But every single person there thanked me for sharing the DMO and helping them with something. And that gave me the encouragement to say, you know what, I'll do another one. And then I'll do another one. And then I decided that I would do a weekly one. I signed up for no matter what. It used to be on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it was just one of those things where it just became something that I did versus something of, oh my God, this is horrible. How am I going to get through this? I have to think about this. I have to make a list. It was just something that I jumped into. And I now do the same thing with my girls. Like last night, I did not have the time to sit and make a list of the what we would be going over. I just jumped in and we started working through everything that needed to be done.
Love it. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. Thank you. And I know Bobbin was just saying in the comments she had the same experience. So if you don't have a leader who's pushing you a little bit every time that you're like holding yourself back, go to them and say, I need you to push me sometimes. I need you to give me that courage to, or help me with that courage, right? And so if you don't push yourself, I know that someone actually said this on the Rise and Thrive this morning too, is that the common theme in these leadership Zooms is that we've got to push ourselves out of our comfort zone. But I encourage you to even just like, I don't know how many of you do this or not, but like create some sort of daily mindset thing that you do, either a meditation or manifestation type of thing. Sitting yourself quietly and just say, I am a leader. I am a confident leader. I am a rock star leader. Talking to yourself, and it may sound crazy. That's okay. You don't have to do it with anybody else around, but start walking around the house. And it's going to sound silly and feel weird sometimes, but when you're walking around the house and you have that physiological like feeling through your body, your whole body changes when you have that confidence with your body moving and you're saying, I'm a freaking rock star. I am a confident leader. I can do this. I promise you, there were plenty of times in the past where someone, like any of the leaders you could name, so many of them, they had those fears. They pushed past it. They gained the confidence by pushing themselves and telling themselves they were capable of doing it. And so doing some sort of activity like that before you even do a practice one, before you even go on and talk with a couple people and sharing. So we do ask people that to do the Collab Labs work sessions, we do ask that people are Pearl and above. And if you're Pearl and above and you haven't done one, guess what? It's your time to do this. It's your time to shine and to share. Because if you know that you've been on Power Hours, the Collab Labs, if you've been on the Collab Labs and you know all the things they're doing, but you just want to hold yourself accountable, there's nothing miraculous or amazing that you have to do. You don't have to stand up and dance for people, right? You're just getting in there and sharing what you already know to do. How did you get to where you are? How did you get to, even if you're a Jade, even if you haven't hit Jade yet, you have the capability of showing other people what you've already learned, right? And it's interesting to me in this industry, there's something weird that happens where people can come in. I have people who are nurses and chiropractors and realtors and business owners of 20 years, all different ages and experiences. They come into this industry and they feel this big. Does everybody experience that? Does anybody else feel like that's what they were like when they first came into industry? I'm curious. Like if so, like put a comment in the comments below because I really know that you're not alone and I want you to recognize that everybody goes through that and we all have that point where we just have to push ourselves to take one little step. So if you're a Pearl and above and you haven't hosted a Power Hour or a Collab Lab, sorry, I know all different names. I really encourage you what you can do, not only practice, right? But sign up to say, I'm going to co-host with someone. So find someone who's doing them on a regular basis and say, hey, Susie, can I join your Power Hour, your Collab Lab? Sorry. Can I be on it with you? I would like to run like 20 minutes of it. And I want to dip my toe in and I want to feel what it feels like, even if you only can do like 5 minutes. But think about the first time you were maybe on like a Rise and Thrive or a team meeting or something. And think about the time that maybe they said, who wants to share a shout out? Who wants to share a win? Right. And then you finally like got up the nerve. So some people are even scared. It makes their stomach sick to even think about sharing on a Zoom at all. But you do that. I mean, even if that's your first step, it's sharing on a team meeting or somewhere that you can share a win or share something that you're excited about. Shout somebody else out, even if you don't have a win. Right. So even just showing up to your business though is a win. I hope you all know that. Even if you show up to your business for a whole year, and even if you didn't get one customer or one associate in a whole year, you showed up for your business, you're empowering yourself, you're learning the skills. So many business owners and people out there who are successful in whatever they did, they didn't make any money the first year. And I'm saying we have ways that you can make money, right? By even just selling products and sharing the opportunity with people, having a person sign up or whatever. But so many people along their line of business, they don't make any income the first, even sometimes 3 to 5 years. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen for you, but like, don't give up because you haven't had the success that you want. Put the effort in, keep doing all the activities, even if it seems kind of monotonous. There's so many times that we feel like, oh, the same thing. But I promise you, it's like if you just keep doing it like a factory job or something, right? It's going to get you to where you want to be. You're going to start having people see you. I see it happen all the time where people will be in for months and they're like, nobody's this, that, whatever. And then suddenly they've got people watching their stories on a regular basis. And then suddenly they're reaching out to them and they're like, I've been seeing what you're doing. I guess I kind of want to see what it is, right? The Tracy who just spoke, I talked to her for over a year before she joined. She even tried the products. She fell in love with the collagen, but I became the strong leader that I knew I was, and I would still connect with her because I knew she could be the rock star leader that she is, right? So that's my suggestion with Collab Labs is to just get in and start doing them if and when you're a pearl, right? So we do really, if you're a strong opal, someone who comes in with the experience of something else and you want to come in and do them, definitely starting to co-host them is an absolute must, right? You can totally do that. So the other thing is, what was I going to say about the other thing? Okay, we're all programmed. This is something I really wanted to speak about. So I did make some little notes just in case, because I didn't want to miss any of my thoughts on this. So just like you are when you're a child, right? When you're a little kid and you're learning how to walk, you're learning how to talk, you're learning how to tie your shoes and ride a bike throughout your life, right? Your parents or your guardians, whoever raised you, they taught you how to do those things. The other thing that they teach you how to do is how to feel and how to respond and how to behave and how to treat other people and how to have the confidence that you have, right? So, whatever your history is and your life experiences, you have the ability to recognize that's not mine and I don't own that. Someone else gave that to me, almost like a piece of luggage on your back, right? And whatever your mom or your sister or your grandma or whoever, or a coworker or a person in your class or whoever assigned those beliefs and those feelings to your whole energy, like just release that and recognize it's not going to serve you. If you can sit and think about, where did I come up with this? So if you really are challenged with becoming that mindset where you can be a leader, I challenge you to kind of sit with yourself and just say to yourself, where does this come from? Who taught me these feelings? Who treated me in a way that maybe made me feel like I'm not worthy and I'm not valuable? Because I promise you, we all have a purpose here. We all have a reason to do what we're doing here. What is your why? Why did you start to do this? Did you want to retire early? Did you want to retire a spouse early? Did you want to take vacations that you couldn't go on, right? So go back to that vision on a regular basis. recognize that your disbelief in yourself, which we all have sometimes, it's going to be a human knee-jerk reaction to the efforts that we're going to make to go, oh my gosh, am I worthy? Am I deserving of this? But correct it constantly if you have to. You're going to have that human knee-jerk reaction. The goal is to say, oh, wait, I recognize that. That's not mine. Can I take that off and hand it over there because it's not anything to do with me? So we're programmed how to feel and how to treat ourselves. Honestly, we are some of the most unkind people to ourselves out of anybody in the whole world, right? If you think about, if you wouldn't say something to your child like, oh, you're a terrible leader, you're not very good with your friends, and you can't, you're ugly, you're fat, whatever, right? Would you ever say those words to your kids? You wouldn't. So don't say them to yourself, right? Because you're going to impact your children and the other people around you with how you feel about yourself. Our children pick up on our energy and the way we speak about ourselves, and they learn, just like riding a bike or tying their shoes, they're going to now learn from you. And so whoever it is, not everybody has children, I understand that, but whoever it is that you're impacting in your life, you want to have them see that you feel confident about yourself and that you are capable, and you're teaching that to people all the time. So simple steps to start. We already said that. So getting into those co-hosting zones where you're feeling confident about that. And then Rob Taggets, I don't know if he's still on here, but he shared a video this morning. And it's actually what I was going to speak on just for a second too, is if it scares you and if you watch this and you're thinking, I'm just going to keep watching all these leaders like it's a reality TV show. I'm just going to keep watching it like it's my weekly series on Netflix, and it scares the heck out of me, and I'm not that person, and I'm not capable of doing all those things. Whatever those mind games that you do in your head, you're just going to do it anyway. Just like you decided to join this business, just like you decide to get up and put your clothes on and walk out the house and go do the life things that you life. This is going to just be something that scares you a little bit at first. And I know it doesn't scare everybody, but it scares most people. In fact, I know that there are people who are diamond leaders and above who still say that they get sick to their stomach and they want to throw up before they do a Zoom or before they do, I don't know, every one of them gets nervous when they walk on stage, right? I'm not nervous that I'm going to be walking on stage in October, but I probably will be right before I go up. It's a natural human reaction, but don't let that sabotage what your goals are, because you can just sit here spinning your reels, watching everybody like we're a reality TV show and it's like entertainment, and go into that constant education zone, right? You're just, I'm educated, I'm educated. So many of you could probably teach all of this without the help of us to someone new coming in. If they were to ask you, if you were confronted and said, you've got to show me what you've been doing for the last year with this turn on thing, you could truly teach everything we've been teaching you. And so many of the things that we teach you are the same things over and over again, but you hold yourself back because you doubt yourself and you self-sabotage. Don't allow yourself to be the person that sabotages you. I promise you, it's so worth it to start feeling very confident and saying it literally. Okay, one more thing real quick, and I know I'll get back down to the actual things, but about belief, like we are so good at reminding ourselves on a regular basis how insignificant we are, or how we are not that important, or we don't have anything to offer. And I want you to start correcting that every single day. And I know that's a really challenging thing for some of us to do, but recognize it and own that you're making those comments to yourself in your mind, and just start saying to yourself, I'm so amazing. I'm such a confident leader. And I feel like I could say this kind of stuff to you every day. And so I know it's kind of like sounding like the same stuff, but I promise you, when you hear this over and over again in your head, and then you start changing those things to positive thoughts within yourself, and the belief and if you think about someone like Muhammad Ali, when he used to fight, right? When he was alive and he would fight, he'd say, I'm the greatest, I'm the best, right? He's there because he was the best, because he believed it in himself. And it might feel a little foreign, because if all your life you've been shot down and told you weren't good enough, or convinced yourself that you weren't good enough, it's going to sound a little foreign. But it's like creating a new muscle in the gym. You're just going to create that new muscle in your mindset. Okay. So the other thing, okay, we talked about the practice and the offering to co-host. Okay, I'm going to talk really quickly about rules, and I hope everybody who even currently does Collab Labs will hear me here. When you walk into a Zoom, I want you to pretend like you are at your house and people are coming into your living room. I feel like that is so important. It gets lost sometimes. And I haven't seen a lot since I've been over here with the legacy makers, but I've seen this a lot in the past where I would train people how to do a Zoom and then I would jump on and see what they're doing for the power hours. Because I used to create for the last couple of years, I created the schedule and I would do them a lot in the first year that I was doing them. And one thing that I think is so important, it doesn't matter if people are on your team or not, is that you welcome them into the Zoom. So before you start, obviously 20, 30 minutes in, maybe you don't have a conversation with each person, but you acknowledge that they just walked in. So talking about energy earlier, you know what it feels like when you walk into a party and nobody says hi to you? And you feel like the weirdo that just walked in and nobody sees you and you're like, what am I even doing here? We have people a lot of times who are brand new. So when you host Collab Labs, keep in mind you're talking to the brand new person. Most of the time, there's about, a handful of people who have been around for a long time. They're doing it to stay accountable and they're doing it to stay part of their daily activities. And then there's also going to be a handful of people who will show up and they have no idea what they're even doing there. They are scared a little bit to even show their face. In fact, Bobbin, who's on here, who said that she used to have to, I kind of talked her into doing power hours about a year ago. And for the first 6 months to a year, she almost would never even show her face on the Zoom. And then she started showing her face on the Zoom. And then she started participating and having conversations. So remember that most people coming in here, they feel the way I was talking about earlier. They feel insignificant. They feel unimportant. So it's really important as us, as the host, when you're going to host these, to welcome people. When you first get on, I always make a point, unless there's 75 people, I make a point to say, hi, Chelsea, welcome. Hi, Cheryl, good to see you here. Thanks for being here, Becky. Hi, Lori, right? I usually talk to every single person and make them feel welcome. Because again, you wouldn't have people walking into your house at a party and just ignore them and act like you're just gonna keep going on with your business over here. Realize that this is a very social experience. This is a very community piecing, like feeling kind of vibe. We want people to feel welcome. If you saw people at the TLA event in October, you're not going to just act like you didn't see them walk by you if you know that you've seen them on a Zoom or that they're part of your team or whatever, right? Sherry, who's on here too, I think I'm going to have her share in a minute. She was talking about the first time she went to TLA or maybe a convention, I don't remember which one, but that people just walked up and gave her a hug and said welcome, and they were so happy to have her there. And so I know we can't hug each other through Zoom, and that's not my point, but my point is make sure you acknowledge people when they come into your Zoom room when you're hosting. So that's a very basic, important rule in my mind after running these for the last couple of years, is I really feel it's so important to acknowledge people when they walk in the door. And remember, you're there to do your activities as well, but you're also hosting. So you're going to be just like at your party. You're going to eat the dinner. You're going to share the cake. You're going to watch people walk around, but you're also the host. You're going to be the one greeting at the door. You're going to be the one saying, come on in. This is what we're doing right now. Now, again, if it's more than a couple minutes after the Zoom started, you're not going to explain in detail what's going on. You're going to say, hey, Chelsea, welcome. I'm so glad to see you. I know you're a few minutes late. No worry. This is what we're working on right now. And if there's a specific message that you're sharing for people to send out or something more specific, we don't want to interrupt the vibe of a quiet working space, because the goal is for people to take like 5 or 10 minutes to work on a thing, right? Collab Labs, work sessions, they should be income producing activities. We don't want to train. It's not a training. If you're going to do a training, in my mind, that's a training. It's not a Collab Lab. Those are meant to have people come in the room and you're all going to get to work together. So again, that if you're at that party, imagine they walked in the door and we're all sitting in the living room, we're all sitting in a circle on our couches, and somebody's going to be running it and saying, okay, now everybody, you're going to get on your phone and you're all going to go take a video of yourself talking about how much you love this specific product. Okay, ready, go. We're going to take 5 minutes, right? And we're going to go make that video and then we're going to post it, put some words on it, da, da, da. And all of a sudden Janet walks and you're like, oh my gosh, Janet, well, come on in. This is what we're doing real quick. Okay, come sit down and like, come work with us, right? And again, if there's a message or something, you can copy and paste it, because whoever comes in will not know any of the chat before they got there. So that's a little side note too, if you didn't know that. On Zoom, anybody who comes in after a certain thing was said, so if you're sharing copy and paste messages or something for people to send out for, inviting in messages, you're going to copy and paste it in the chat. So again, you're there to work and do your business too, but pay attention always to the front door. Make sure people feel welcome. Make sure they know that they're there in the right place. And hey, if you're, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. we want you to share in the chat. And then you can keep track of the chat. And maybe someone's brand new and they're like, I don't know what's even going on here. Oh, cool. Okay. Well, just so you know, you can put a comment back after that. Just say, hey, Susie, like we're just commenting on people's walls and interacting. Just do it naturally. You'll just feel it and it'll flow as you go, right? So definitely want to make sure people feel welcome. You also want to make sure you're focusing on income producing activities. Like I said, I really feel so strongly about that. People come to Collab Labs work sessions so they can do the work. Again, we have plenty of places and times where people can watch a training, they can watch a Zoom, they can see what people are doing who are leaders. We don't want this to constantly be like you're watching somebody up on a pedestal. We want you doing the work and we're here to show you. It's the whole I do, we do, you do. So I'm doing this. You've seen me do it. Now you're in the business and we're doing it together. And it's like if you were at a new job and you had a couple weeks training, right? You would watch someone do the job for a while, right? That's them watching you on Facebook and then joining in on the team. And then the goal is to show, we're showing them physically what they're doing. We don't want people confused on that because people get lost and I don't even know what to do, right? And then the goal is, okay, now you're good on your own. They can come back to the next Collab Lab and work with people, but we really want to make sure people know what they're doing. And I really believe so strongly that that's what these sessions are for. They're not to gab, they're not to chat. So if people start chatting, this is a really hard thing for people to do, but just feel like you're the teacher and you're the host at your own party. And if someone started just talking incessantly about something negative or not, like it's okay to say, hey, Becky, just remember we're here all working together. We can chat afterwards. Or maybe, like let's keep it back to what we're focused on. It's okay to put the teacher hat on and tell people to let's focus back where we were. I appreciate your comments. Go ahead and put things in the chat, but I want you to be here with us all working. Because otherwise it distracts people, especially if it is a brand new person. It's okay to say, hey, Becky, I know that you're new. Go ahead and comment in the chat what your questions are. We're going to keep doing the things. We're going to keep working. You'll feel the flow as we go, and I'll connect with you in the chat. So feel comfortable knowing that you're there to be a teacher and to show them what everybody's doing, okay? And then what's the other thing? I want to make sure if anybody has any questions about hosting Collab Labs, put them in the chat. And, even if this is posted later and you want to put it in the chat of the comments of the post where, Erin's going to post it later, feel free to put them in there and I'll answer them as well. But you don't have to be perfect. Stop overthinking it. This is just usually a pretty small community that gets together on a Zoom. The goal is to put yourself out there. Feel confident as you go. You'll feel more and more confident and get better and better as you go. Everybody started nervous, right? So they just do it. So again, if it makes you super nervous, ask someone to come co-host with you. And, most of the topics are going to be, like I said, income producing activities. So hosting and just doing their DMOs. That's the coolest thing ever is everybody in here knows how to do their DMOs, right? Everybody knows? We all know. So you can even print off the sheet and have it sitting next to you so you don't lose track of what you're doing. Decide how much time you want to give everybody for that hour, within the hour, 10 minutes on this, 10 minutes on that, and you just separate it all out, put a little timer on your phone. It literally can just be that people are there to hold themselves accountable and you just do a simple DMO activity. Obviously, there's other things. People are scheduling reels, they're scheduling posts, they're doing other things, but we want people to do the work, right? So you can just have that list and literally walk through each thing and answer questions in the chat. So don't overthink it. Start out. You're not here doing a training for everybody. You're here working with people. Start out with something simple like a DMO Collab Lab, okay? And then here's the other thing too, before you get yourself in there, if it still makes you nervous, which I promise you there's people who still get on Collab Labs, they've been doing them for 6 months and it still makes them a little nervous. I think I mentioned this earlier, take a few minutes, just close your eyes and tell yourself, I'm capable, I'm amazing, I'm a great leader, I'm going to do this, it's going to be so fun. And guess what? When you hold yourself back, you're holding yourself back from impacting people who could learn from you. You have something amazing to offer. And there are people out there that are so scared they don't even want to do work on a Zoom, but they're there. So you're showing them, I'm not perfect. I'm just showing up and I'm doing the work and I'm walking you through the things that I already know. And then you'll be able to do it on your own, right? So don't worry too much about it. Sit with yourself for a few minutes before you press the go, the whatever it's called. What's it? I'll start, share, whatever. however you start a Zoom. I can't think of it. But before you click starting the Zoom, just gather your energy for a few minutes because people feel it. And it's okay if they feel that you're nervous, but recognize that that's just silliness. It's nonsense that someone else put in your mind or in your thoughts, right? Okay. And then remember too that this is just something that I want to tell you guys because I think it's super fun. And remember that, and if you guys don't believe in energy, I want to tell you right now, how do you believe that I can type something into my phone and it goes out into the whereverness, right? And it comes to other people within instant, like the instant moment. So recognize that whatever energy you're putting out into the world at all times, it's kind of like I came up with this last night. It's called the sneeze analogy. And I'm going to develop this more because I really love this. But imagine if you're in a car and there's four people in there with you. It's kind of a tight fit, right? You got five full grown adults in this car, and all of a sudden someone sneezes. What happens? Nobody knew to roll their windows down before it happened. It just out of nowhere, this person sneezes. They don't cover their nose. They don't put their arm like this. And even if they do, still some gets out, right? So think about how those little particles go all over. They go on you, they go on the car, they go on the windows, they go everywhere. Even if there's no excess junk coming out, it's still the sneeze within all the air, right? So everybody gets it all over themselves. So when you go onto a Zoom, when you do life in general, but this is just keeping your energy in a good space and keeping things in a positive mode. If people get off track, that's them sneezing on people, and we don't want that, right? We want everybody to stay in a positive mindset. So don't let it get away from you. The conversation in the collab lab also, because people can start throwing it out there and they can start asking questions, then getting negative. And nobody says this. They bring it back in, say, okay, let's gather back in and get back to a space where we're working again, right? But if you think about the sneeze analogy that I'm talking about, imagine if you go out with your negativity, with your gross energy, even if you're pretending to be positive on your Zoom when you're training people or whatever, people can still feel it. When I say this too, when I'm sending a message to people, if I'm not in a good energy, I get myself just sitting there quietly and I just say, okay, give me the right people to talk to, give me the right words to say, and then I go for it because people can feel like how you feel through your thumbs into the phone, out into the whateverness, and they receive it on the other end. If you're feeling yucky about it, if you're feeling desperate or anxious about it, people will feel it, right? So try to get yourself in a good mode before you go through that, but also when you're hosting these Zooms, get yourself in a good mode, recognize that you affect all the people in there. And then if you're sneezing out yucky negative energy, they're all going to feel it. And people are going to then, it's almost like what's it called? I can't remember that effect where, one person starts talking badly and other people start talking about it. And then it's like, oh yeah, I remember. And you're planting seeds of doubt and all that. So everybody can get a little frustrated with their business sometimes. That's fine. But recognizing it in yourself and or others and saying, okay, now let's talk about what is exciting. Let's talk about what has happened that's good for you. When I can't believe how many times I'll ask people to share a win or something, and they're like, I don't have anything to share. Well, you showed up for your business. What are the positive aspects of things, right? So I think that's just in general keeping yourself in a positive mindset because you affect so many people that way. So okay. So the other thing I'm going to talk about, does anybody have questions? If you don't, that's fine. But if you do, put them in the comments. Does everybody feel like you understand how a collab lab is run and how we want you to conduct yourselves and how you want to treat people? And it's just putting that teacher hat on and showing people what you already know. Like it comes down to that. I just talked for like 15 minutes, but it really just comes down to how do you help other people and help them feel good about what they're doing? And you all are capable because you've all done the things, right? So the other thing I wanted to share about is, and how important this is, if it scares you to get on a Zoom like this, hosting something, whatever it is, doing a training, I promise you. In fact, I don't know if she's still on here. She might have had to go back to work. Miss Sherry, are you still here, Sherry? Are you able to share? I don't want you to disappear before I got you on here. So
Here.
there she is. Okay. So real quick, I'm going to let Sherry talk because she's got to go back to work. I think she's on a lunch break right now, but I want her to share with you just for like a minute what it is, our Wednesday night Zooms. So if you guys don't know about them, they're called the Next Level Leadership, and it's meant to help you break out of a lot of this stuff. Your mindset, feeling like feeling like I'm not a leader, I don't know what I'm doing here, why would I ever be good enough? If you don't push past those things, guess what? You'll never be the sapphire you want to be. You'll never be the diamond that you hope to be, right? Because you're just going to hold yourself back in your little shell and not come out. So, real quick, and then we'll go into a little bit more detail about what they are. I'm going to have Sherry, I'm going to spotlight her here with me as well, about why it is, or just tell us a little bit. It's kind of like actually like what we do with Trinant, right? So
Mhm.
with this kind of thing, it's like, how was I before? In came this product. Now this is my life. That's all we need to do with this business. Same thing with the opportunity. Here's where my life was before. In came this opportunity and all of this amazingness that we have to offer. Now here's where my life is, right? So this is an example of why I do the Wednesday night Zooms. I've been doing these for about a year. Told Tina about it a couple months ago when we joined the Legacy Makers, and she said, that sounds fabulous. Go ahead and bring it in as part of the Legacy Makers. And so we've been building it more and inviting more people into it. So we do post about it every Wednesday. We would love for anybody to be part of it. Any level of leadership is wonderful. Last week we had Alicia Limbo. She's a sapphire and she trains all the time, but she had something new that she was scared to share about, and she wanted to test it out on us, right? So this is and anyway, I'll go through more about what it is in a minute so I can let Sherry get back to work. But just share with me what happened for you with that.
Well, the first time that I shared, I think it was on the Let Them theory, the book.
Mm.
What I took one chapter and shared what I got from it. And I made a little PowerPoint. And you don't have to make a PowerPoint. You could just come on and share. But I made a little PowerPoint and got on and did my thoughts about how it affected me and what I learned from it. And I was scared to death. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know how to even share my PowerPoint, my screen to Zoom. And I got on a little early so I could get all that situated. And I just I don't know, and I get emotional. I'm very emotional. I cry at the drop of a hat. So, but it ended up being like maybe one of the best Zooms that we had. And because everybody understood what I got from it and they learned as well. And, you know, it was just empowering to be able to let other people see what I learned. And then I was like, oh, okay, I was able to connect with people. And so that I got it out of the way the first time and I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. And so now I think I've done maybe two or three.
Mhm.
And I can speak confidently right on things like this now. So it has given me the experience to be more confident. So,
Yeah.
and I am grateful that we have this because without this, I would not be where I am now. So,
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So here's the thing is that the way that I run these Wednesday night Zooms, it literally is because I have a passion to help grow leaders and help people see that they're capable of doing whatever that they want to put their mind to, right? And I see after I've been in this industry for about 11 years, and as I grew as a leader, I recognized not everybody was growing as a leader and understanding that they could do this. And so I have this huge passion to help people. I don't believe that everybody should just sit around being, buy purchases of the products and sell a product here or there, right? Now, if that's what you want to do, that's great. We don't mind people who want to be, I really do honor people at whatever level. This Zoom is about who actually wants to step up and be a leader, who actually wants to take the steps, because Tina and Sonara and Sarah and I, we're doing these trainings, but in a year from now, we want to see you guys doing these kinds of trainings. We want to see you all step into your own. I would rather be in a couple years from now, sitting back in the audience, watching all of you get up on stage and train on something, even if it scares the heck out of you, right? So the goal with this next level leadership, I just randomly came up with it last year, and I thought this is kind of fun. Let's just practice, just like my practice group with the live practice group, right? Like just like people having to practice and for a live, they also sometimes want to practice. And I know Kim Hollinshead is doing the practicing of presentations. I haven't been on one of those, but I think that you guys should probably check it out and see how it goes, right? And see what she's teaching you. But this is what the next level leadership is about, is to help you feel like you are in a leadership status and you are capable of sharing. And Miss Sherry is a medical coder, right? Tracy McGee is a personal trainer, and Bobbin is a nurse. And all three of these ladies have gained confidence here because they came here and felt this small because they didn't know what they were doing. And it's so weird. And so I watched that happen over the years as a leader. And I thought, maybe we could just practice a little bit and people could feel more confident. And then they'd be okay with doing an opportunity presentation. They'd be okay doing some trainings and sharing their knowledge, right? So it's literally the first time I asked Shara to do one of these Zooms, she about wanted to cry and shut off the Zoom and tell me to go away. But she did it and it scared her. And now she's asked if she could do it again. So she's done two. She's got another one. I've got her on my list for people who want to do the next ones. And so every Wednesday night, it's basically like this. It's an hour-long Zoom. And I know we're getting kind of long. I really was hoping to do 20, 30 minutes, but I'm almost done. Is we spend an hour there for about 15 minutes. I host it. I welcome everybody. I have everybody share their wins, their shout outs, whatever they want to do. And then somebody co-hosts it with me and they take over. And whether they do a PowerPoint or not, doesn't really matter, but they do a presentation of some kind. It doesn't even have to be about Trinant. It's good if it is about business or mindset or something, products, whatever, but it can be whatever it is to get you confident, feeling that you're sharing something that you are very knowledgeable about. So then you share for 20, 30 minutes, however long it goes, that's fine. If it ends quicker than we expect, then I take over and we do some tasks. We've done some role playing where we send each other voice messages offering the opportunity. So we just kind of wing it each time and see how much time we have at the end, and I'll take back over and finish it up with whatever kind of activities. Sometimes it goes the whole rest of the hour and somebody feels super excited about it. Yeah, Tracy shared about burnout. So we all have something that we are feeling pretty confident that, like, I think I could talk about this because I've experienced this. And what did I do to get past it? Right. So you share. And I usually ask people to do 2 or 3, have people do a couple tasks during the Zoom so that people have something they're actually doing too. Again, we want people doing income producing activities, even if it's mindset stuff, because that affects your income as well. So that's, I offer that every Wednesday. I would love for more people. I've got a couple spots open in Wednesday or in September. It's Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I just ask that everybody step out of their comfort zone, come to a safe space in a community where people are there to support you and show you that you are capable of doing this as well. So that's what I have for you. I do have a couple seconds I want to open for questions if you want. And then I have this little thing that I wrote down because I kind of gathered it from some stuff that I was listening to earlier. And I thought, oh my gosh, perfect timing. Everything always comes in perfect timing, exactly when it's meant to be there for you. So here's your 3 options. Okay. You're going to document things in your life and it's going to hold it there. So this is my mindset thoughts. Okay. When you document things in life, it holds a VIP section in your mind. Meaning you're talking so much about what is there. If you're talking about your weight, I'm so fat, I'm so fat, I'm so fat, I can't lose weight. That's almost like giving a VIP box to your mind for that thought, right? And then if you ignore it, you start to move away from it. That mindset of this is how it is, whatever. But when we start trying to create a different reality, a different version of our life, just ignore those thoughts in your head, those things that used to make that fill that VIP box. Does that make sense? I know this is a little weird. Like I said, I just came up with it, but like, and then when you start to move away from it, that's when you start to create the real version of your life. So document it and you're going to hold that spot there for good. It's like having its own little owners. Like it's like that saying where people like, oh, it's renting space in your head, right? So imagine when you're sitting there telling yourself, I suck. Nobody wants to do this with me. Nobody's going to want to join me. We do these things in our minds, right? You're holding that spot there like it's renting for free in your head, right? But when you start to move away from it, when you start to ignore that thought, then you're going to move away from that reality. And then when you start focusing on what you want, you will begin to move towards it. I cannot tell you how powerful mindset stuff can be and how powerful it can be to just, I know Tina says, delete, 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 right? Whatever it is that resonates for you, find a way to pivot your mindset anytime you want to stop yourself and say, I'm not good enough. I can't be the leader that that they are, right? If I, again, coming back to what I said in the very beginning, I was like, hi, I'm Tina Joy Carroll. I'm a Red Diamond astronaut. I mean, obviously that's not who I am. I'm Angela Dunn, and that's good enough. And we all are good enough. And so stop freaking comparing yourselves to anybody else because it's not going to make you who you want to be. It's just going to hold you down and keep you in the place where you've been begging to leave for so long. So can you be similar to Tina someday? Absolutely. Can you rise to a red diamond? Absolutely. But it's your stuck mindset that's going to keep you stuck in that spot where you're not getting to those levels that you want. So that's my ending piece of advice. I just cannot emphasize that enough. I'd love for you guys to join us on Wednesday nights. We always post about it. If anybody has any questions, let us know. I don't see any questions, so I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys, if you have questions as you go about hosting Collab Labs, about being part of the Next Level Leadership, please let us know in the comments of the recording. And thank you for being here. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.